I'd like to show you how to make Salisbury steak with mash and veg. Allow me to introduce you to the ingredients. We have 700 grams or 1.5 pounds of lean ground beef, 2 egg yolks, 5 tablespoons or 1/3 cup of breadcrumbs, 3 tablespoons of milk, salt and pepper to taste, approximately half a teaspoon of each. For the gravy, we have 225 grams or 8 ounces of mushrooms sliced, 2 onions, 1 red, 1 white, 350 millilitres or 1.5 cups of beef broth, 28 grams or 1 ounce of brown gravy granules, 1 tablespoon tomato paste, 1 tablespoon of mustard, 1 tablespoon of dried parsley, 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, 4 tablespoons of water. For the mash, we have 1 kilogram or 2 pounds of potatoes, peeled and chopped, 200 grams or 7 ounces sweet potato, peeled and chopped, 1 teaspoon of butter and 1 teaspoon of dried parsley. So allow me to introduce you to the equipment. We're going to need, amongst other things, a ladle, some tongs, spatulas, an ice cream scoop for serving the mash, a masher for mashing, and a cup for measuring out the water to add to the crock pot. We're also going to want an immersion blender. This will allow us to puree at the end to make the gravy. And we have heat-proof gloves, which allow us to lift in and lift out should we need to. We're also going to be using some bowls for mashing, a plate for the patties once they're cooked, and for your sides, if you wish to, you can add some veggies, and I suggest peas and sweet corn. We're also going to want a bowl to combine the patties. So for this, we're going to want to have our patty ingredients ready, our beef, our egg yolks, our breadcrumbs, the milk, and the salt and pepper. We want to make sure our hands are clean and fully washed. And using our bowl, we want to add the beef, the egg yolks, the breadcrumbs, the milk, and the salt and pepper. Now that we've combined all of the ingredients into the bowl, we just want to mix them, stirring with our hands. Now that we've combined the ingredients, we want to half, half again, and half again. So that should give us 8 pieces, which we can now form into balls and simply press. Now we have our patties. We want to place them onto our plate. And leave them to one side. We now want to wash up, just to make sure everything's nice and clean, ready for the next stage. We're now ready for the next stage, which is sauté. So we just want to select brown and sauté, remove the lid. We can now add approximately 3 tablespoons of olive oil And if you wish to at this stage, we can add some pepper. And now we just want to wait for it to come up to about halfway temperature. Now that the temperature is up to halfway, we can begin by adding the first half of our patties. And turning them over after a minute or so. We just want to have our bowl to hand ready to put the cooked patties into. And using a spatula, after approximately 1 or 2 minutes, we want to turn them over once more. Now we've had a couple more minutes, we can remove them and place them in the bowl. It's entirely optional how much you wish to cook them. I'm personally leaving them slightly rare as they'll continue cooking when it comes to pressure cooking. So now we're ready to add the next batch. We now want to switch off or cancel brown sauté. And for the next stage, we want to add our gravy ingredients, which are our mushrooms, onions, beef stock, gravy granules, tomato puree, French mustard, parsley, and Worcestershire sauce. I'll just give that a mix to combine. We're now ready to add the patties back on to the gravy. Now you might also be able to see a little bit of juice remains in the bowl. We want to make sure to add that as it's all extra flavour. In order to do the potatoes, we're going to want a trivet to hold it above and a basket to hold the potatoes, or a vegetable steamer. Now I'm going to use a basket for the potatoes and a vegetable steamer for the veg. So we can simply place our trivet over the top, our basket into the pot, and add our potatoes. We now want to check to make sure the lid is set to locked and not bent. We now want to select manual mode, 18 minutes. If you wish to, you can use turbo, and that will take it down to 10 minutes. Meanwhile, we just want to wash our bowl and make it ready for the mash. Now that the pot's up to pressure, the 18-minute original countdown or the 9-minute turbo countdown has begun. Now that the timer is finished, we can simply depressurize. If you wish to, you can place a tea towel directly over the steam vent. We can now switch off, cancel. Now that the pot is depressurised, we can simply remove the lid. We're now ready to add the potatoes to the bowl. And place that to one side. We're now ready to add our veggies. Meanwhile, we just want to lift the trivet and give everything a quick stir. Now we want to simply place our veggies directly into the pot. And for the next part, we just want to put the lid back on, making sure it's set to locked and not vent. And we want manual, 1 minute. Meanwhile, we can begin with the mash. So first of all, we want to add our butter. And our parsley. We now have our mash ready to serve. Now the pot's up to pressure, the 1 minute countdown has begun. Now that the time is completed, we can simply depressurise and switch off. If you wish to, place a towel directly over the vent. Now that the pot's depressurised, we can simply remove the lid. Using heat-proof gloves, I want to remove the veggies. The trivet with our plate on side. We want to place the patties directly onto the plate. Meanwhile, we can make the gravy. So first things first, we want to add our water. And the cornstarch. We now want to use our immersion blender to blend to a smooth consistency. Now that the gravy's reached a smooth consistency, we're ready to serve. It's now time for the taste test. The flavour of the Salisbury steak is absolutely phenomenal. The gravy really gives this an absolute boost. Combined with the richness of the homemade gravy, the slightly herby mash with the element of sweet potato, and the crunchy, vibrant veg, this is an absolutely perfect meal to put together. Packed full of flavour, ultimately comfort food, and really healthy too. Here's a dish that should definitely be on the menu. So I hope you've enjoyed cooking the food as much as I've enjoyed cooking the food, and I hope you're enjoying eating the food as much as I'm enjoying eating the food. If you like what you've seen today, simply subscribe where you can stay up to date with the latest recipes. Recipes and links to items used in the video are included in the description below the video. Thanks again, see you in the next one.